Jaya Jaya Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara. Jaya Jaya Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara. Jaya Jaya Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara. Jaya Jaya Shankara.
Periyava Satcharitham, Chapter 34. Are you now able to see? This happened many years ago when Paramacharya was at the Shri Matam. It was evening time and a cycle rickshaw pulled up at the gate of the Shri Matam. The driver got out of his seat and slowly took down his passenger, an old man who must have been 80 plus. Please get me inside, signaled the man, and the driver obliged. But he stopped at the gate, reluctant to enter the holy place in his dirty lungi and bedraggled hair. He called a Shri Matam employee and requested him to take the man inside by hand carefully to see Periyava. Please bring him out after Darshan Sami. I will wait here to take him back. The employee held the man firmly and took him inside to where Periyava was sitting and seated him in a slightly elevated place. The man was shabbily dressed in a wrinkled dhoti and shirt, and you could see a few rupee notes in the pocket of the shirt. His shrunken eyes could hardly see clearly, and narrowing them, he tried to see Periyava with his right palm shading the forehead. He could make out vaguely the image of Periyava and made obeisance from his seat itself with pats on his cheeks. Periyava smiled at the old man. The Mahan obviously knew the purpose of his visit. An employee came running to Periyava now and whispered into his ear that some VIPs had come and waited outside, seeking his darshan. Periyava told him he would see no more people that day and the visitors could come the next day. The employee went off to convey the message. A few other devotees were also given prasad and sent off by Periyava, and now only he and the old man remained in the room. The man was still trying to focus on Mahaperiyava. The Mahan got down from his seat and started walking towards the old man. His disciples who were there were stunned. They had never seen Periyava going to someone to bless him. What was happening? They watched with bated breath. Periyava neared the man, took a garland made of vilvam, bale or wood apple leaves, wore it around his head, and asked him in a deep voice, "Are you able to see?" The man narrowed his eyes further but said no. Periyava went even nearer, took a new rose garland that lay there, again wore it around his head and asked, "Now, can you see?" The man gazed with great effort and again said no. Periyava handed over the rose garland to an employee and took a kashaya vastra, an ochre garment worn by a sannyasi, put it on his head and asked the same question. Again, the reply from the man was no. The onlookers were mystified. What was the man expecting to see? What was Periyava trying to show which he couldn't see? They couldn't figure out. After all, it was a secret between Periyava and that man. Now Periyava took his dandam, the stick, picked up a rudraksha mala, rosary woven with rudraksha beads, lying there, placed it on his head, held the dandam and asked, "Are you able to see?" The disappointment writ on the face of the man hitherto vanished. His eyes brightened. Tears ran down non-stop. He tried to mouth some words, but no sound came out. In a few seconds, however, he pulled himself together and said, "I can see everything, Periyava, very clearly, Periyava." He slapped on his cheeks with his palms repeatedly and with great difficulty raised his hands and brought them together in obeisance. He got up strenuously from his seat and brought down his unyielding body in a Sashtanga Namaskaram, complete prostration, praying his gracious God with a full heart. He then got up slowly, stood looking at Periyava with ceaseless tears flowing, and Periyava called his disciples. The rickshaw in which he came must be standing outside. Take him out carefully and help him get into it. Let him go peacefully, Periyava told them, and turned on his heel and went back to his chamber. The rickshaw puller was waiting outside, and as soon as he saw them, he came running, took over the escort of the old man to the rickshaw and pulled off. The disciples talked among themselves about the unusual incident they had witnessed, and even a senior resident of the Shri Matam was unable to decipher the secret of what Periyava meant when he asked the man, "Can you see?" The mystery was unraveled the very next day when the Matam received the news of the old man's passing away in the early hours of that day. The disciples and employees who had seen the whole thing were shaken. A veteran secretary of the Matam was able to fill in the missing pieces. The old local had somehow divined that his last days were approaching. His desire was to see Kailai Darshan, the darshan of Lord Shiva on Mount Kailash before his death. He staunchly believed that if anyone could get him to see it, it could only be Mahaperiyava. So he got a rickshaw puller to take him to the Shri Matam. With the help of his Gyan Drishti, godly perception, Periyava knew the dying person's yearning and showed him Ishvara Swarupa, sight of Shiva, and blessed him with moksha or deliverance. The man was made to see Ishvara Swarupa in the face of Mahaperiyava, and Periyava left no stone unturned to make sure that he could get the Ishvara darshan. Such was his benevolence. It is widely believed that Paramacharya was a version, a cross-section as it were, of Lord Shiva. Some of his devotees were fortunate to learn this through such rare experiences. One of these gifted bhaktas was the old man from Kanchipuram. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara, Mahaperiyava Charanam.
Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara, Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara, Jai Jai Shankara.